it wouldn't be like straight up hardcore. Very eclectic. Maybe something like African hardcore. You know?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah.
Greetings from the Electric Byway.
Hello seekers and welcome to Electric Byway. Today we have a special guest all the way from Kenya. This is Makossiri and she's here for the first time in Finland on her European tour, and we invited her to our Kova Ydin UG party here in Tampere, and yeah, she's here, so I will be asking some questions about the party and about music life in East Africa and your tour and stuff like that. So, hello, good evening, and how are you?
I'm good. I'm doing good. Enjoying Finland. I'm glad to be here. Yeah.
So, about your musical background, like, how did you end up in all these electronic music events? And what did you have some kind of musical background before that?
Yeah, so I've always just like loved music since I was young. And I started just like playing music in church because I grew up in a religious family. So that's where my musical journey started. And then after that, I started playing with bands and just playing solo acoustic music. And then after some time, I moved from Nairobi to Uganda, Kampala. And the electronic scene there is really there's a scene there, it's quite bubbling. A lot of things are happening. People are really experimenting, and the audience is also like very open to new sounds. So when I was in Kampala is when I really got to discover more about like electronic music. And then I started DJing, listening to a lot of music, going clubbing, also to just like listen to what the DJs were playing. And that's where my journey started.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So around what time was this? Like what years?
This was around, I first went to Uganda in 2017. I went for a festival, an electronic music festival there called Nyege Nyege. And that's where I got to like experience different types of electronic music. I would say that was like almost, like my first introduction to proper electronic music. So after that, in 2018, I moved to Kampala, and then I just started getting involved in the scene, organizing parties, and then, from then on, I've just like been DJing and producing music.
Cool. Do you know about like the history of the electronic music scene in Uganda or in Kenya? Like there is this new movement going on, but do you know like what was the starting point, or like when did it really start to like grow big?
I mean, electronic music has always just been played there. Mostly we would listen to the bubblegum era that was in South Africa. I think maybe that must have been like the first time we started hearing a bit more of like electronic music. And then I feel like also the festival that started in Uganda might also have been like a melting point and also a starting point, like a proper starting point of electronic music in East Africa. But also in Kenya, there's been like a band that has always just been there, like playing electronic music, electronic pop, electronic funk. But I didn't hear much about like Uganda having like electronic music until after the festival had started,
Okay, because I didn't I didn't know much about the electronic music scene there
Yeah.
before this Nyege Nyege festival, and I saw some videos from there. I think before, well, I would sometimes read about articles that there's like some heavy metal bands and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That there is kind of a harder music scene.
Yeah.
But then now from this, like what I saw, like some videos from this festival,
Yeah.
and then your like music videos and from the labels there, then I noticed that there's like also some really hard stuff going on, like hardcore techno, and
Yeah.
it has also many times its own flavor, also kind of local flavor to it.
Yeah, but also before the Nyege Nyege festival, in Nairobi, there was already like an electronic music movement, you know, and there was like techno has always been played in Kenya. Yeah.
But yeah, when I saw, of course, like Cabaret Modus Operandi from Indonesia playing there, and then like your music videos, and also like artists like Duma.
Yeah.
And I was thinking like, wow, cool! It's like really happening there now.
Yeah.
And, because I've been like kind of looking forward to like when will we hear something from Africa related to hardcore techno, this kind of music. So it was really like positive surprise to see that it's like coming in. And of course all this, well, you also play like quite many styles, of course, not only hardcore techno.
Yeah.
Like Psytrance and Afrofuturetech.
I play Psytrance, Afrofuturetech, which is mostly my own music. I also play industrial noise and African rhythms. And also when I just like listen to other songs that are maybe outside the genres that I like, but I still like vibe to them and I think they might work in my set, I just like bring them in. I don't like to tie myself.
So about Afrofuturetech, like how would you describe that? There's kind of a, is it like not only a sound but also kind of like an aesthetic thing, or?
Yeah, it's a sound, it's an aesthetic, it's a movement, you know, it's I would say it's more about like thinking more about like the future, designing a new African future, you know. But apart from that, it's also like a music sound that's might be political at times. It's very hard and also fast. And there's also like elements of industrial noise, you know, and African rhythms. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we could go to these other more specific subgenres. So when was kind of the first time that you discovered, for example, hardcore techno and this industrial noise, this more kind of harder electronic music?
I started like properly listening to different genres of electronic music in 2020. I spent so much time just like listening to a lot of music, and because at that time I'd already like started DJing, but I hadn't like gotten into like really maybe hardcore techno. So I was doing like maybe techno and African electronic music. But then just in my journey, I got to discover Psytrance. And I was like, wow, I like this music. I like the way it makes me feel. I love how fast it can be. And then I got into hardcore techno. I also discovered like GABA, you know. And that's how, I don't know, there was just something about these genres that were quite pleasing to my soul and the way they made my body feel. Yeah.
Was there any specific artists or some, I don't know, maybe videos from some festival or something that you saw that was really interesting for you when you first discovered this?
So the thing is, like, I think my mind was really opened, like, to different possibilities of how music could be when I first listened to Throbbing Gristle. And I would say, like, when I just like listened to their live performances, I was so mind blown. I was just like, wow, you know, like you can actually make music in whatever way that you want to, you know.
Yeah.
And I think after that, after I'd listened to them, that's when I started like going deeper to like figure out different styles, different genres and all this stuff. I also like DJ Prophet also. Yeah, and also there's this festival called Dominator. So yeah, those are like artists and also spaces that have made me like really stick to the sound.
Yeah, and it's quite interesting that you play quite also at the party last weekend, and in your sets that I've heard, like the spectrum of hardcore, it's quite wide.
Yeah.
Like there's more of this kind of Dutch festival sound, as I call it.
Yeah.
Like more kind of cheese, so like synths and stuff.
Yeah.
And drop downs, like drops and stuff.
Yeah.
And then some like really nasty industrial beats, and so yeah, it's interesting that, and of course you mix with like your own music and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So like kind of about the hardcore techno subgenres, like have you looked into that, like all kind of different styles within the hardcore spectrum, or
I feel
just
like
anything goes?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's been like kind of like anything goes. I'll just like listen to something, and whatever catches my attention is what I'll listen to. But also, I mean, getting to also actually be here in Finland and meeting other hardcore heads, you know, I'm now getting to learn more about like hardcore, you know, getting to know actually these different subgenres. Yeah, so it's a continuous journey. Yeah, I'm still discovering more and more, and I'm really happy about that, actually. Yeah.
So last Saturday was your first kind of actual experience of a full hardcore party. So how was that for you?
You know, I've really been looking forward to like that moment, because just starting to play hardcore techno, I wasn't really thinking so much about like the future or where am I going to play this music and that kind of stuff. I was just playing this music because I loved it, you know, and also just trying it out to crowds around East Africa and getting different reactions, you know, because it's also like a new genre. For East Africa, it's a new genre. It's not like something they listen to so much in clubs. So it was a bit ish for them, you know. So I've always been looking forward to a day where I'll play like a full hardcore set to actually like people who really vibe to the music. So I had a great time. I feel content. I feel courageous to keep on playing hardcore, you know. So it's been nice.
So did you have any like expectations about the party and versus like how it actually was?
No, I didn't have any expectations. I was just like, I knew it's going to be whoever is going to come here, like to come to the party, definitely vibes to hardcore. So I was just like ready to come and share my energy with them. And we have a blast.
How did you like the other sets during the evening? Was there anything that like stood out, or was something interesting or mind-blowing or just?
I mean, first and foremost, I'm mind blown that I got to play with like DJ Proteus, you know, him being like a Finnish legend. it's really quite humbling. And I'm glad I got to actually dance to his final set, you know.
Yeah.
I listened to a lot of stuff that he was playing, and I'm just like, how can I get into his catalog? Can you share with me this music now that he won't be playing again? But like, yeah, that was really like a huge moment for me. Yeah.
Yeah, so this was actually like not his final set as a DJ, but this was his final speedcore set. So
Okay.
this was he's trying to quit his DJing career at least for now, and he has been playing like, well, he was supposed to quit already in 2020, I guess, like, but then the COVID started, and lots of stuff was postponed, especially because he would play at the bigger parties, and especially those were postponed. But yeah, so he has been playing like final sets of specific genres of music. For example, like he will probably do a final Psytrance show somewhere, and maybe like final acid techno or whatever, because he plays many genres also.
Okay.
But this was like his, I suppose, his career's final, like most extreme gig. Like,
all right.
so we asked for the most anarchistic stuff from his records.
Was so heavy, so hard.
Yeah, there was no BPM limits. Crazy.
Gosh, that was nice.
How did you like the location? Have you played such locations before, or do you have such locations in East Africa? Or?
I mean, we've had like warehouse parties in Kampala, even in Kenya. But also that space is also like quite special because it's also like a skateboarding place. Also, you know, it's so industrial and it fits the music that was being played there. Yeah.
And I heard some like positive feedback from some people that it was a really old school rave vibe also. Because we also kind of intentionally like don't use maybe so many colorful lights and stuff, but it's on like the really rough strobe light and some smoke and kind of this very 90s vibe.
So that was the vibe.
Yeah. And of course we had a VJ too. So that was I don't know. Of course in the 90s they also had VJs, I suppose, in some form. But anyway, so this like very minimalistic industrial warehouse and just smoke and strobe and really fast music. That was kind of the vibe that we were going after also. So.
You achieved it. You did. Yeah.
Your other gigs on this tour, how have they been? Like, do you what kind of parties do you usually play on this tour?
I've played like club nights. I've also played like underground parties. One that stood out for me must have been the one I played at Trauma Bar in Berlin. And it was also like my first show in Europe. And the energy was so amazing. I had so much fun. It was a spiritual experience. Yeah. Nice. So the tour has been going well. I'm also just glad that I had to, I made this stop here in Finland before continuing with the other gigs. So I'm really looking forward to how things will turn out. Yeah. More hardcore, for sure.
And I hope that you will get some hardcore bookings in some other places as well.
Me, that's what I want. I'm just like, universe, give me more hardcore, hardcore sets.
Give her some hardcore. Dominator Festival,
exactly.
Do you hear us?
Dominator Festival, book Makossiri.
You do include some hardcore in some like other sets as well, but it's more like eclectic other
Yeah,
gigs, I guess.
yeah. On my other like really varied sets, like longer sets, I play a bit more of like every genre that I like. That's Psytrance, noise, maybe sometimes industrial techno, hardcore, African rhythms. But there's always, in all my sets, there's always hardcore for sure. Like,
Cool.
yeah, has to be.
And so your own music is also very eclectic, but you in some tracks, especially like Choosy with the music video, it also like it's kind of has kind of a chill vibe, but in the background there's this like very fast, almost like speedcore beat also. Did that kind of come from the hardcore techno, or how, like, what was the inspiration for the beat for you?
I mean, still just hardcore. But also before I got into electronic music, I was doing like really quiet, chill acoustic music. So with that song, actually, it's more of like a marriage of both of my styles, the styles that I like. Yeah, so quite chill, but also, there's also the hardcore part of it. Yeah.
And you also have some upcoming stuff, some hardcore, maybe harder techno stuff. So do you want to say something about that?
Yeah, I'm currently working on an EP, which will feature like some really like hardcore music. It wouldn't be like straight up hardcore, very eclectic, maybe something like African hardcore,
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, because also I feel like a lot of like the drumming styles of some other communities, also my community, can be really quite hard and really quite fast, so I'd love to really explore more of those drummings and bring in all these elements of electronic music and hardcore into it. So EP coming out soon, so
yes. Check it out.
Yeah, check it out when it drops.
So I would like to ask a bit more about that, like when you play hardcore to audiences in East Africa, so what kind of reactions do you usually get, and what's the best place to play some hardcore in East Africa or in Africa where you have played?
I feel like the best place to play hardcore would be Kampala. Yeah. Because I've traveled extensively in East Africa, Tanzania, Uganda, and Kenya. Also in Tanzania, you can play some hardcore, and that's maybe in Zanzibar. Yeah, because there's also like an electronic scene going on there with so many techno parties. So you can branch out to hardcore techno. Kampala definitely will welcome you, to just play whatever you want to play, and they'll vibe to it. Kenya is a bit tricky with hardcore. It's at the moment it's more of like a house kind of scene, house music scene, and a bit of techno. When it gets to hardcore techno, it's extreme. I've had like some bad experiences, so
but for some reason the craziest artists come in East Africa. They come from Kenya, like you and Duma. Duma, the band, is like very fast
true.
and hard stuff.
True. Even Slickback also, But that's also the contrast of the city of Nairobi, because Nairobi is really quite fast. It's so noisy, and sometimes you would think maybe that would reflect so much in the music, in the wider variety of music, but the music is quite calm and quite healing to the soul.
People want to chill from the
I think
lifestyle.
so. Maybe it's just something I have never known like how to explain. But yeah, I think with time they'll start vibing to it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I suppose in South Africa there is, well, I have heard that they have like maybe some hardcore too, and some like hardstyle parties and stuff like that. Maybe
I know about like Psytrance. They have
Yeah,
like like Psytrance festivals there. Yeah, haven't had much about hardcore though.
yeah.
I mean, I feel like where there's Psytrance, there can be hardcore. Yeah, yeah.
Sure. They are also maybe like traditionally kind of competing styles in a way, because it's like this like a peace-loving hippie crowd,
Oh
and
yeah.
then it's like the rough, aggressive, masculine hardcore side. But in the 2000s, 2010s, I think there have been lots of hybrids between these two scenes, and the Psytrance got faster also.
Yeah.
There's like smaller scenes where they like really fast and crazy Psytrance, and then hardcore got some Psytrance elements too sometimes.
Yeah, true. Yeah, but also, I mean, there are also more females coming into the hardcore scene also, so we are decolonizing the space also, so it won't always just be like rough masculine energy. We are bringing a bit more femininity in it, spice up the music.
That's only good.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you would like to say to the people who came to the party last Saturday?
Yeah, I mean, me, I'd just like to say thank you so much for being there and sharing the energy and vibing with me. You made my first time playing a full hardcore set like really amazing. I hope you guys had so much fun like the way I did. So thank you so much. I hope to come and play again soon. Yeah,
that would be nice, and hope that you get more like hardcore bookings somewhere.
Sure. We're
Germany,
manifesting that.
Berlin and
yes.
Netherlands.
Yeah, exactly. Amsterdam, we're coming.
Rotterdam, Gabber capital.
Rotterdam. Okay, we're coming, Rotterdam.
Is there anything you would like to say to the viewers from around the world who are watching this channel?
All I could say is just like follow your dreams, go after what you want to do. And just try and live your best life. We don't have like a long time here, so let's make the best of what we have in the moment. And try and protect the environment. We need it, and we need it for the future generation.
Yes. And when this life is over, we can continue it on other planets and make some crazy hardcore there.
Exactly. In another planet, in Jupiter, of course.
Other dimensions. It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for coming here to play and for agreeing to do this interview. And we will see sometime next time, I don't know when, with some other exciting content from the underground. Yes. Okay. Bye-bye.